Good evening, my YouTube people that's following me. Hi. So, I felt like it's time for me to tell my story regarding my teen years growing up and supposed best friends that I was supposed to have for now it would have been 27 years. Um, in the late 90s, I had to go to a program called No Child Left Behind. So, after grammar school, I had in order for me to go to freshman year in high school, I had to go to summer school. And I ended up going to summer school, and I met these two friends that I thought was really really cool. We're gonna call them Salt and Pepper, and we're gonna call Salt the girl and Pepper the boy. Hold on. So while we was there, I met them. I thought they was real cool or whatever. So when the fall of school happened, I met this young lady. We'll call her Ketchup. Now, Ketchup was supposed to be my best friend, and we got along. We got really, really close with each other, and we did everything together. I spent the night over her house, and I don't think she spent the night over my house because her mother was very religious, and she always, asked a few questions. Me born and raised in a church home, knowing about God and being a Christian and everything, I figured, me and her would have a lot in common. Her mother didn't want her to listen to no other music other than gospel music. And little do she know, her daughter was into some things that I didn't know nothing about. You know what I'm saying? She knew about the sex and the kissing and sneaking the boys over and all of this other stuff. I didn't do none of that. I was more of a tomboyish person, so I just didn't really like um I went into boys like that. So um in my freshman year, we got really, really cool. And, all of the secrets that I had, the issues that I was dealing with, how you be talking about your people and stuff to your best friend about what you going through in the household and what is not working for you. But I felt like I was a black hole. Like I never really got along with people. I was just feeling like I was there. Like I really wasn't living. And for for that, with her being my friend, I felt like I was living a little bit because I was able to go outside with her and be able to have, a little fun, And we got really, really cool. And going into our sophomore year, she started dating this guy. And they used to always be hanging around each other, all the time. I felt like the third wheel and everything. And I didn't kind of mind because I felt like, I didn't really have to be more of a I don't know. I just felt like, I was still by myself. So we used to always talk and hang out in the halls and just be cool or whatever. And we had ended up taking a break in the summertime. So we going into our sophomore year. We get into our sophomore year. I met this guy that used to live directly across the alley from me. And less than a month later, I was taken advantage of. I lost my virginity and I got pregnant in the same night. However, me being a tomboy that I was, I didn't know nothing about like sex and um, boys and all of that other stuff. Mind you, I was only 16 and he was 19. So he knew what he was doing. And I found myself getting in such a depression. I thought that I was always sick and I couldn't understand why I wasn't feeling good. And come to find out, me and her and another young lady, we're going to call her Mustard. And then this other young lady, we call her Mayonnaise. We all ended up going to the clinic or whatever, and I found out I was pregnant. I got more and more depressed, and I felt like I didn't want to be a burden to my mother, and I didn't want to continue the teen pregnancy cycle in our family. So I ended up telling my mom or whatever. I just felt like I knew she felt like I was disappointing that, I was telling her that I wasn't having sex, which I wasn't. I had somebody take advantage of me in order for me to not feel so badly about it. I ended up staying with the person because I didn't want people to think that, oh, I'm just sleeping around with somebody. I ended up getting caught and getting pregnant by that person. So I ended up staying with him knowing that I knew that he do better than taking advantage of me, wasn't cool and just didn't care. I ended up getting pregnant twice. After I had my daughter, I ended up getting pregnant with my son. Now during this time, mustard and mayonnaise became a part of our group when we was already friends with salt and pepper, me and ketchup. Um, Now after I had my daughter, she tells me that her mother doesn't want her hanging with me because I'm a bad influence because I had a baby. Not knowing the situation, mayonnaise knew, ketchup knew what was going on, what the situation was. And I found myself like her, like slipping away from, we was just slowly but surely like not being too close like we used to be. And it kind of broke my heart because I felt like for her mother to say something like that, you must don't know the stuff that your daughter be doing. And she was doing way worse than me. Only difference was she didn't get pregnant. So, mind you, she was doing more worse stuff than I was. And she was with more than one person. This is my first time ever being with a male at all. You know what I'm saying? So, I kind of didn't expect it, but I expected it. So, she got more closer and closer to mustard and mayonnaise, and she used to go out with salt, and they used to get their nails done, get their hair done, and get their feet done and stuff, and go buy outfits, and they just started spending more time together, spending the night at each other's house, and just hanging out more. And I kind of felt isolated and out of the group. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's because I got a child. I'm a mother now. I got more responsibilities. And then to hear majority of my teachers telling me, oh, I wasn't going to be good enough to do nothing but lay on my back and have babies. That hurt it. So I went through my life in high school trying to prove something to those who talk bad about me. Oh, they said I wasn't going to graduate. I was going to drop out because I got 2 kids and I wasn't going to be nothing but to lay on my back and have kids. So I need to prove to them that I can graduate with 2 children and walk across the stage. Out of all 5 of my mother's kids, I'm going to be the one that's going to walk across the stage and she's going to be proud of me. Even though this is a setback for a comeback. I'm going to make a way with my 2 children. I struggled and I tried to get my own place and, trying to live with other people because I just didn't want to be a burden on my mother. But I kind of felt like, it wasn't working. I tried to kill myself twice because I just was so in a depressed stage. Like, I don't know this person that I done had these 2 kids by. I don't want to be with him in that way. And I just don't know him. And so while I seen me and her friendship depleting, and I found out that Mustard cousin ended up sleeping with the guy she was in a relationship with her sophomore year, and I thought that he was a cool guy, a little dorky guy, but cool. I didn't think that they would ever break up. I thought they was gonna get married and have kids and stuff, and when I found out, I defended my friend. I was being the friend to her, like, it just makes me so mad that you would go and do something like this, and I was looking at Mustard like, you need to get your cousin in order. She out of pocket for what she did. Either way, um, the friendship just, it wasn't the same, and we still was friends and everything, and stuff happens. So She thought it was so easy for me to get two kids ready for school, feed them, and get myself ready for school and be in school and make it to school on time at 7 in the morning. It wasn't easy at all. So she wanted to start watching my kids because, granted, she became my children's godmother. So she thought that she was going to one day take my daughter and my son and let them spend the night with her, and she was going to end up going to school with them. Didn't work. She didn't get to school till almost 12 o'clock in the afternoon. Like, I don't see how you do it. I had a rough time getting Deja ready, or I had a rough time with getting your son ready. La, 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 la. Yeah, it's not easy. And then try and keep up your grades and get to a positive mindset that all of this is going to fall into place and it's going to work out for the good of me. I had to ask God for favor every time because I started feeling like it was getting to that point where I felt like I didn't deserve to be on the earth no more. Like, my kids don't deserve me because I brought them into this world and I could barely take care of them. But then I started asking God to take that away from me because I felt like I am better off being here for my children and not putting that burden on somebody else, and then having my kids feel guilty that I felt bad to have them. It was a blessing that I ended up having my children because it became the best part of me. It became a person that I felt like I could never be if I didn't have my children. So during the process of all of that, you go through the ups and downs or whatever. And we was doing like the jobs. I was in this program to help young teens, find housing, public housing or low income housing and jobs and stuff. And I was doing it, feeling good about myself. And when you're raised not, you're not knowing, your mom doesn't know, or anybody in your family teach you how to save money, how to keep up your credit, and find you your first home and live your life, graduate, go to college. And my mindset was always go to high school, go to college, graduate, find someone, get married, and then have my children, because I always felt like that's how it should be because it's in the Bible. And it didn't work out that way. But I still had hopes that that's what my life would be, that the person that I'll be with will accept my two children and love them for no matter what. Now, I ended up being 6 months pregnant and meeting my youngest daughter, dad, and we started dating because obviously it didn't work out between me and my oldest two kids' dad. Come to find out, he was dealing with his own situations in his life with his parent, and he didn't have nowhere to stay, living where he could and all of that. And it took a toll on him, so he wasn't able to be there for my child or be there for me. So he just, it's like he vanished. Like, I didn't hear from him for almost 2 years. And until I had when I was pregnant with my son and I told him, that I was pregnant, he wanted, like, he just didn't care. So I ended up meeting my youngest daughter daddy when I was 6 months pregnant, and he took care of me and my daughter, and he was there for her. He bought her clothes, bought her shoes, being a stepdaddy like, a man would. And for some reason, it seemed like every time I take a step up in life and accomplish something in my life, I just felt like my friend was never really there for me. So I kind of didn't understand it. And I'm like, but if you my friend, and me, I'm the type of person, when you tell me that you did something or you accomplished something, I'm going to be your biggest fan, your loudest cheerleader, and rooting you on and telling you I'm proud of you, I'm happy. I can't wait till, you go to your next step, and, you got your next journey you going. And I just didn't get that in return from a friend. And I just didn't like how it played out. I just felt like everything that her mother was saying to her kind of like broke the cycle of our friendship about I was a bad influence on her, and come to find out she was really the bad influence on me. But we'll get back that with that in a second thing.